Hello, we're going to look at another part of our hardware and processing section of the curriculum, and we're going to look at application software today. So, first thing we need to understand, what is software? And computers are made up of two separate sections. You've got hardware and you've got software. And hardware are the parts that make the computer, the physical parts that you can touch that make the computer. They include the things that are inside the case, things like your motherboard, your CPU, your hard drive, your keyboard, your mouse, your screen. They're all hardware. Another way that I was taught to remember them by one of my students was hardware are the things that you can throw out of a window. So if you can pick it up and throw it out of a window, that's hardware. Software are the programs that are on your computer. So things like your operating systems, your Word, PowerPoint, games, browsers, they're all software. Programs and apps that you can load are software. Okay, and that's what we're going to be looking at today, are the programs and apps that we can choose. So let's say we want to write a letter and we're on PC running Windows. What software could we use? Now most of you would probably think straight away, oh, I'd use Word, because Word is really common and it's installed on a lot of computers, but there are lots of alternatives. So you've got AbleWord, Kingsoft Writer, Jarte, OpenOffice Apache, and AbiWord, to list just a few. Okay, so why do I see Word on almost every computer then? Well, Word, as you can see, is made by Microsoft, and we are running a Microsoft Windows PC. So Microsoft like to promote their word processor, their software for their operating system. So that means that you see it more often than not. It is also a really, really good word processor. So lots of people use it for that reason too. So why are there so many alternatives if most people have got Word? Well, there can be lots of reasons. It might be a price difference. So some of these, like OpenOffice, are free. So instead of having to pay for Microsoft Word, you might decide that you're going to save your money and use OpenOffice software instead. Or it might be that they're slightly cheaper, or that you are looking for a particular feature that Word doesn't have yet. And there are choices for every kind of operating system. So actually, if we're looking for a word processor not just on Windows, on Apple you've got things like Pages, Byword, Scrivener. Android's got AI Writer, TextMaker HD, Google Docs, Zoho Writer. Linux you've got LibreOffice Writer, WPS Writer, and AbiWord. So lots and lots of choices across lots and lots of operating systems. So actually, when we look at word processors, it isn't just Word, there are lots and lots of choices out there, and it will depend on your budget and what features you want as to which one you will choose to use. Now, as I've said, Windows will encourage you to use Word. Apple encourages you to use Pages, but you actually can get Word on Apple, but they'll try and push their software for their operating system for you to use. So here's what I'd like you to do. List a number of word processing softwares. So actually, how many can we think of, how many can we find as alternatives to Word? Explain what software is. Define the difference between software and hardware. And then your challenge is to compare the different features of different word processors. Okay, best of luck with that. Off you go.